I've been working on something here in the Magical Man Cave for a good couple of years. It's not always been in here. It was actually an idea that I had a long time ago before I even thought about the Magical Man Cave in any kind of real way. But this video is going to tell you all about how I made lightning in my man cave. And it looks like this. Okay, so hopefully you can see that there's thunder and lightning going on, and actually you can see probably a blue flash going on right now, so sorry about that. The reason is because it actually uses the peak audio that it can hear from a microphone. Now I'm using something called a Perfect Storm box. This is actually a separate one from the one that's already rigged up here. I'm not going to take that one apart, but let's go over to the bar and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about with this version here, which actually I blew up because I put 230 volts through it when it's only designed for about 110, I think, which is the American voltage. So I needed to buy this little box from America and import it over into the UK, which isn't the ideal way of doing it. And I did try to do it using a Raspberry Pi and all of that sort of stuff, but it didn't really seem to work. So that's why I forked out for one of these things. And as you can tell from the plug there, it is an American voltage. Basically, what happens now is that I've got a step-down transformer to transform it from the UK voltage to American voltage, and then everything runs on American voltage after that. When I say everything, not everything in the man cave, just everything to do with this particular use case. So that plug there goes into the step-down transformer, which then goes into the wall and then steps it down from UK to US voltage. And then we've got a whole load of groovy little things on the front here. So we've got, hopefully you can see just here, there's the mini jack adapter. And that's so that I can put audio into this directly without having to use the microphone. And I think that's what I'm going to do in the future. I've got another Raspberry Pi, and what I want to do is to run the audio file on the Raspberry Pi and do it as a startup routine, which then connects directly to the Perfect Storm, and then that can then split the audio file, come out to the speakers and play the music or play the audio file, and also put it straight into the Perfect Storm box. Now the way that the Perfect Storm box works is that it's got a sensitivity dial just there. Hopefully you can see that twiddly thing. I'll put an arrow on screen so that you can see what I'm talking about. And once that's on, you can adjust how sensitive the microphone, or in this case, the audio in, would be to the thunderstorms. Once you've done that, on the back here, you've got another plug, this one here, and that's where you plug in the lights. So my spotlights, although they are wired into the ceiling, they're actually on a plug rather than wired into the lighting circuit. And the reason for that is because I then needed it to go through the Perfect Storm box. So I've done all of that and I've wired it and all of that sort of thing. That's all fine. Then it goes into an adapter, which then goes into the back there, so that the lights are actually running on 110 volts instead of the mains UK voltage of 220 or 240 or whatever it is. 240, I think. But wait, there's more, because back here behind the bar, it's very exciting. I've got a magic wand which then controls whether or not the thunderstorms go on. And over here, if I just tap this against the rune stone, then it can turn on and off the Perfect Storm box. So what actually happens if I turn this camera around, hold on. This is a rune stone here, and it's controlled by using this RFID switch, which is inside. There's actually an RFID chip inside the tip of the magic wand, and when I tap it against the receiver, it turns it on and off, which then turns the Perfect Storm box up here on and off. So it's essentially a smart switch that's remote controlled using a magic wand, which I think is pretty neat. So I'm probably going to switch it over so that I can just use it using my voice, because once it's on, it's kind of on, and that's fine. But I also want to use the rune stone for other things like turning on lights and things like that, so I'll just tap it against it. I might also do it to stir the drink. I've actually got a spell book down here that when you put your glass on it, it actually stirs a drink. And over here, next to where I say magic potions, that's the sign there, I've also got another rune stone which I'm going to link up to a smart switch to control the stirring book. So then all I do is just tap it against there, it lights up and it turns on the stirrer. So that's the idea. But what do you think? I'd love to know what you think about the Perfect Storm box and the thunderstorms inside the Magical Man Cave. I think they're really cool, and they certainly add an awful lot, especially to things like Dungeons and Dragons games. So like last Saturday, we had a Dungeons and Dragons game, and to get it all atmospheric and mystical, I guess, I turned on the thunderstorms to make it quite tense so that the adventurers could enjoy the thunderstorm. And then when it all cleared up in the story or in the game, I then turned it off and it was really quite quiet. So the next thing to do is to wire up the projector, which is currently hanging from the ceiling at the moment. There is a hole just up here, hopefully you can see that. And that's for the projector to make the pumpkins talk and do that all permanently. If you enjoyed this video, please do click that like button, subscribe, ding that bell, all of that great stuff really helps out this channel. And I'll see you again next time with some more magical awesomeness. But until next time, as always,
Stay magical.